So, welcome to Tuesday at 10. And I'm going to start out this meeting really by sharing my screen. Well, no, I guess I won't yet. So, one of the things, whoops, get rid of that thing. One of the things I wanted to start out with is to give you an update on some things going on in the industry that I think are interesting. Uh, First of all, uh, there are so we're in a world now where technology is king, and we've got AI and we've got all kinds of technology, and there are companies out there in our industry that are looking to, that are startups that are looking to try something new, maybe disrupt things as they are, but it doesn't matter. They're out there trying. So I just wanted to uh, talk about some companies that are out there that have some interesting ideas. So there's a new company called Foyer, Foyer, and what their goal is to try to help people save for a down payment for their home. And so what they're doing is offering uh, a structured savings account and a financial preparation platform specifically designed for achieving home ownership. And so I think that's an interesting approach to things. And people need that, and I've got some other statistics to share with you in a minute that you'll see why that could be important for buyers. But it's something that we need to be aware of. Right now, they have about 10,000 users across 50 states. And they're trying to expand through partnerships with employers, real estate professionals, and they're trying to reach buyers early in their journey and then try to accelerate them more quickly into home ownership. There is a fee for the use of the platform. Obviously, it's not free, but it's an annual fee. So, at any rate, just be aware that exists. That company is called Foyer, Foyer. Now, there's another company called Neobank, and they're trying to tackle the issue of the fact that rent payments are draining the buyer's ability to save up for home ownership. And so, what they're trying to do is they're trying to figure out how to, um, and they're working with real estate professionals, landlords, and housing providers. And so what I think their goal is to have a payment platform that turns expenses like rent and utilities into a path towards a down payment. So users that use their platform to pay their rent and their utilities could earn 4% to 12% cash back on eligible payments. So another approach to trying to help people save for down payments when they're ready to buy. Now, not sure exactly how that works. My guess is that they probably approach um, landlords and say, "Hey, we have a payment system, and so it makes it easy for your people to pay us instead of writing checks to you. They'll write checks to us, and we will pay you. And that way, you don't have to go after people that are late for payment and et cetera. We'll do that for you, obviously for a fee, and then we're going to give some percentage of that back to people, to your renters, so that they can save for a down payment. Now, I don't know how uh, attractive that sounds to a landlord because they want to keep their tenants long term. So it's an interesting idea. Don't know whether that will gain traction or not, but it's certainly an interesting idea to try to recoup some of that money that you're paying on rent every month. Um, so it kind of works, I suppose, like a rewards program with a credit card. So interesting concept, interesting idea. Just wanted to bring that to your attention, and that's called neobank, Neobanc, neobank. And then there's another company out there, and so. A lot of times people have trouble qualifying for a home purchase just on their own, but if they had somebody to qualify with them, maybe a parent, maybe a roommate, maybe some other person, but the typical lending mortgage companies want you to qualify on your own. So there's this new company that's trying to solve that problem called PairGap, PAIRGAP. And what they're trying to do is to help people qualify that have down payment money, but they don't qualify for a mortgage. So they're putting them together, and it's what they're describing it as is a real estate prenup, so that all the parties that are involved in this process are protected in the process. So it's an interesting thing. It's launching in New York City. So obviously, I think it has more application in high cost markets, but just just three companies that are working on trying to exploit uh, technology, try to make things easier for home buyers, easier to save money or get some money down from their rent and et cetera. So that's one industry update there. I ran across another article too from an economist, and one of the things she's talking about is how long it takes to typically to save up for a down payment, kind of by market. And so uh, she's created what she calls a down payment clock. Okay. And this down payment clock basically says here's about how long it's going to take you in a typical market to save up for your down payment. Okay. So just to give you an example of this, um, so it's going to take you, if you live in Los Angeles, San Luis Obispo, it's going to take you about 15 years to save for a down payment. Um, then San Francisco, Salinas, Santa Barbara, about 14 years. It's going to take you about 12 years in San Diego. Uh, so uh, San Diego is one of the more accessible California options, only 12 years to, to save up for a down payment. But that's a long time. Um, Now, there are other markets. So if you take a look at Phoenix, Nashville, Denver, Orlando, they're about 7 years. Um, and in markets like ours, so Raleigh, Charlotte, Indianapolis, Kansas City, Columbus, and Minneapolis, they fall into 4 to 6 year range. So in our market, it's taken about 4 to 6 years to save up for a down payment. for your home, and that's just on average. That's basically looking what the average person makes as income and what the average person might be able to save in terms of the amount of money that they can save. So uh, now the shortest period. So here's where you want to live for the shortest down payment. So you could save up for a down payment for a home in 2 to 3 years in these markets: Davenport, Iowa, Toledo and Canton, Ohio, Peoria and Springfield, Illinois. Okay, so those are some markets where the down payment clock is fairly short. 2 to 3 years is all you need to save up for in those particular markets. So I think that's kind of a interesting uh, take on saving for a down payment because we know that it's going to be market sensitive because of the price of the homes in that market. Sometimes we think like a market like California, well, yeah, the real estate's expensive, but people earn more money out there. But they're earning more money and saving for a down payment, there's a mismatch there. So there's even though they make more money income in California, they still have a much harder time saving up a down payment for a home than they would right here in Indianapolis saving for a down payment. It's going to be half or less the time to save up for a home in Indiana as it is out in California. So I think that those are some interesting things for you to know in terms of industry trends and what's going on in our industry. Also, there's another company out there that I think you might be interested in. This company is called Guest House. Guest House. And what they're trying to do is they're trying to be the Amazon for home staging. So they're trying to make their mark in staging homes. And so what they want to do is try to simplify the staging process and make it as easy as ordering groceries online. That's basically what they have to say about their own business. And so what it does is it allows you as a real estate agent, you could queue up staging services and instantly receive quotes. You could schedule it, and so you know precisely, how the home will be designated and when, or when it's going to be staged. So interesting thing that they're trying to do. Who knows whether it will actually work? One of the interesting things about it is, so if they stage a home with their furniture, um, the buyer of the home can also buy the furniture. So if they like the way the home's staged and they like any of the pieces of furniture, they can buy those from Guest House. Um, so at any rate, it's an interesting take on home staging and an attempt to make home staging more than just a local home stager, but rather kind of a nationwide type Amazon type approach. So you can see that there's a lot going on out there in our industry of people trying to capitalize, or companies even trying to capitalize on our industry. So, and we already know about Zillow and the platforms that are doing their best to capitalize on our industry. So I just thought it would be interesting for you to hear about those things in terms of what's going on in our industry. The final thing that I'd like to say to you or show you, okay, let's see if I can find this. Okay. Let's see. All righty. I'm going to share my screen here if I can. Uh, huh. You guys are all still there, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. I can't figure out where to share my screen.
Jim, did they say anything about what is the percentage that you should be saving for a down payment or
I
regardless of
think it was like 15% or something
15%?
like that. Yeah.
Do you think they're going to make it easier to get loans? Not like kind of not banks will be kind of not being so uh, asking so many things like they did it in what was it 2005 or 7
Well,
and
yeah,
loosen the
and
regulation.
there's been discussion about that. We already know that that got the market in trouble back then. And so I think that while there is a move afoot to try to simplify that, it's also one of those things that we have to be really careful of, that we don't back ourselves right back into a situation where we have high foreclosures. So um, I think lenders doing due diligence is a good thing, and there are some people that just should not have a home yet because they really can't afford it. So I'm going to share my screen here with you. And one of the things that I want to show you here, um, so this is a newsletter that you get from NAR. You have to sign up for it, I think. But you may get this. If you don't get it, I would suggest that you sign up for it. This comes out daily. And all these industry things that I just talked about were in this newsletter. Okay. So here's the article in here about the uh, the companies right here, Tech Tuesday. Here's the staging company that's doing the staging, guest house. Here's the three startups trying to help first-time home buyers. And so there's interesting articles in here. Here's about the down payment clock. I would highly encourage you to read these on a daily basis, or at least glance through them for interesting information, because the more educated you can be about your industry, the more that you can share with other people. The other thing I want to talk about, there's a group out here, they're called the Paperless Agent. You'll see a lot of their advertising from the National Association of Realtors. But these guys are really pretty good. I've attended a number of their sessions. They have free sessions. They give you enough to uh, be able to use the system on your own. They also offer, for hire, you can get their things, but uh, they have an interesting approach of using ChatGPT to build a pre-listing packet before you go on listing appointments that can set you apart from other people that you might be competing with. Uh, if you haven't attended one of their webinars, I would definitely recommend that you do it. I think it's worthwhile to spend the time doing that. And again, you'll see their ad in this Realtor News Now that's put out by National Association of Realtors. So just wanted you to be aware of that. Let's see. The next thing I want to talk about here. Ooh, there we go. Next thing I want to talk about is your Rallium dashboard. And again, May 6th, just a reminder, May 6th, they're going to start training weekly. So you'll see weekly training opportunity from Realty World University. They're free. You sign up online. and you can take the training. The next class that's coming up is tomorrow, April 22nd, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Gabrielle Jeans with Realty World University. She'll be talking on time management and productivity systems. So this is coming up uh, next month. Or tomorrow, I mean, not next month, tomorrow. Next month are the dailies, but tomorrow. So again, I highly recommend that you take advantage of the training, even if you only learn one thing that you can apply to your business. That one thing may make the difference between the income that you earn this year versus the income that you used last year. So I think one of the big keys to being successful in real estate or any industry is to be a continual learner. Look for opportunities to learn from others. And like I say, even if you only pick up one thing from this one time management tip that saves you time in the coming year, that could make the difference between being successful and not being successful. So I'm going to stop my share right there and ask if there are any questions on any topic. So if you have something you want to talk about, a question that you have that you'd like to discuss with the group here, just unmute yourself and ask your question.
Has anybody used foundation title before?
I have not. Anybody use foundation title?
No.
No.
Nope.
Looks like nobody. Sorry, Sean. No
Hmm.
help.
Yeah, well, that was my concern. I'd never heard of it,
Yeah.
but whatever.
Okay. All right. Anybody else have a question?
I do, Jim. Quick question.
Yeah.
Um, are we gonna get are we gonna stop using zip form the website and we're gonna move to Transact, or we gonna keep both?
So right now, those people that wanted to move to Transact have been moved to Transact. Those people that wanted to stay with DocuSign are with DocuSign, and we're gonna uh, keep both platforms for the time being. Although your accounts will be ending with DocuSign Rooms. You're talking about DocuSign Rooms. Um, and which is the DocuSign's transaction management system. Once I'm convinced that Transact is better than DocuSign, then I will want everybody to switch to that. But right now, I'm giving you your choice, and so a number of have elected to stay with DocuSign. I will tell you this: so far, my experience with Transact is way better than DocuSign. Uh,
Okay. The reason I was asking is because I tried to do a room with Transact, and I have some investors, and some, like, whenever I use like DocuSign, I can put the name of the company at the bottom, like printed, and then whoever is like representative of the company, they can sign it with their name. But with
yeah.
Transact, I'm not able to do that.
Well, I think that have you talked to Transact support?
No, I haven't.
I think you can do that, and you do that by adding them as a as
As a
a
representative, right?
huh?
As a representative on
Yeah,
the contact.
so you have contacts and you can add those
Yeah.
contacts in. So it should allow that because keep in mind that
Mm.
zip forms is zip forms.
Yeah,
DocuSign just simply uses zip forms.
correct. Yeah,
So I would talk with Transact support to find out specifically how to do
yeah,
that. But I think it's probably just in that section where you're adding people into the
yeah.
transaction, and it probably depends on how you add them in. I'm not. I'm not experienced enough yet to know all the ins and outs, but as I recall, you had so you could add them, I think, as a company or
Yeah, there is a way. It's just that I did it, but whenever I send the document for signatures, they cannot choose their name. It has to they sign as the company's name, even though I put it as a like a representative name, email, and all of that. It doesn't do it, so I probably just have to call Transact.
yeah, either that or so what it may be doing is automatically supplying information when you send it out. You can
Yeah,
delete and put your own information in there. So if it's already pre-populated with something, you can delete that and then you can put in what
yeah.
you know, a person. So if it's got a company name there instead of the person, you can put the person in.
Yeah, probably that's what it is. I just have to play with it to get more acquainted to the program. But
Yeah.
I just wanted to confirm that. Thank you,
Yeah.
Jim.
Yep. Okay. Anybody else? Okay. So anybody have a coming soon listing that they're about to bring on market? I have one in Carmel, two-story. Don't know what the price is going to be yet, but it's going to be in Woodland Green, and two-story. Nice, some nice updates in them. And if our sale goes through on the property that they're buying, we're having the home inspection today, so I'll know a lot more about how solid that will be after our home inspection today. But I'm anticipating that other than the roof of the house, I think that this house probably will pass inspection without any major issues. Looks to be in pretty good condition, but just in case. Uh, so anybody else have any? All right, so there's nothing else there. We're almost out of time, so I'm not going to have a lot of time here to talk about price reductions. But as we get into a more balanced market, we're going to have more and more opportunity where we need to reduce the price on our listings. You know, maybe we just miscalculated the market and we've gone in too high, and or maybe there wasn't quite enough information available for our market, and so we've miscalculated the value of the property, and so now we need to do a price reduction. Um, and so uh, there are a couple things that I think are important that need to drive that dialogue with your seller. One is you need to make sure that you have solid information about about your buyers and your sellers. Um, for instance, I'm going to go to my over here. Okay, and I'm going to share my screen with you. All right, now you're looking at my desktop, and here you should be seeing my board. And one of the things that I do when I get a listing is I set up a search only for me. It goes to me. And I basically I call it market activity or whatever. So this is a search that I have running for Ralston. It only sends the listings to me, not to my client, although I could have them sent to my client, but typically I want to look at them. And so what I've done is I have it send me actives, pendings, and sold, but I only want to see pendings that have pended since our list date. And I only want to see those that have closed since our list date. But what it does is it gives me an indication of what's going on in the market. So, for instance, if I look at the results here and I sort by status, I can see all the active listings in my little search parameter. I can see the pendings and I can see the solds. Now, what happens is I get a daily email, well, not a daily email, but whenever one of these statuses change. So if I get a new listing or if I get a price reduction from one of my competitors, I see that. It comes to me on a daily basis, so I can look at that. If I get a pending, okay, one of the first things I do when I get a pending, okay, is I go down and I look at the who represented the buyer. And then did that agent show my property? Because that's important information to know. So that will tell you can, and then I might forward that on to my seller and say, hey, this house just went under contract. They did show our house, but they chose to buy this one. And here's what we can glean from that. This one has more bedrooms or it's a lower price or whatever it is that might have caused that. And I might even reach out to the agent and ask them, hey, why did you buy that instead of ours? The other thing is, a lot of times you can look at it and see, hey, they didn't show yours. So why didn't they show yours? They showed this one and they bought this one, but why didn't they show yours? What was there about that one that made them go and buy it and not buy yours? Again, that can be helpful information that you can then share with your seller to help support what you're trying to do, as which is get a price reduction. One other thing I want to show you real quickly is so you've got all these pulled up, okay? You can check them all, and then you go over here to the little CMA summary tool. Okay, you can hit that button, and it gives you some great little statistics to discuss with your seller. So right here you see, so if you look at your property, okay, on here, you're going to see what the average price per square foot is and the list price and et cetera. Well, you can compare that down here with the price per square foot of your competition. Then you can go down here and look at the pendings. And again, median price per square foot, and so forth. So you can compare the properties with each other and you can get an idea of what's going on in the market. And then the sold. Now, this is something that you can email. So you can come up here and you can email this either to yourself or to your client. And so they can look at these statistics themselves. And the cool thing is, let's say they want to see one of their competitions here. They want to see what it looks like. They can just click on the little link there, and they can look at that house. And so they can see what's going on with that house just by clicking on it. So it's a good tool for you to send to a seller to let them know what's going on and where they stand with the other uh, houses that are out there in the market. So just wanted to give you that information in terms of things that you could potentially do to help yourself with getting a price reduction. So in this case, it's data driven information. So the information is driven by actual data. So I'm not just saying, hey, we need to reduce the price. Here's what the data shows us. Here's what the market is showing us that we need to do. Now, doesn't mean that your seller is going to pay attention to you, but it does mean that they can they can at least it shows them you're not just arbitrarily asking for a price reduction all the time. Then the last thing I want to show you is you can use ChatGPT to write a price reduction email for you. Okay, so what I did here is I've just entered in information, but please take the following information and place it into a update email to my client. The client, Mark, is a good friend of mine, a former real estate agent himself. Please make the email casual as a friend talking to a friend. I need to suggest a more appropriate price for the listing. And here's the info. We're 61 days on market with no offers. Property has been consistently advertised on Facebook, so on and so on. All the things that I've done to try to market it. And then I pointed out the pricing and et cetera. And so then it gives me, it prepares an email for me. Now, I've edited this email before I sent it out. And I asked for it to be very friendly and personal. But here's the email it came up with. Hey, Mark, I wanted to give you a quick, honest update on where things stand with your listing and share some thoughts on pricing. We're now at 61 days on market with no offers. On the marketing side, we've been very active, and I've talked about the marketing, talked about the showings that we've had, the open house that we did, and other data points in there. And then down towards the end here, I say here for my listing, I'd strongly consider repositioning of the 255, 260 price range, better aligned with pending comps on a per square foot basis. Create some urgency. I know it's probably not what you want to hear, but I'd rather be straight with you so we can get you to the finish line. Let's talk through it. When you have a minute, I'd love to hear your thoughts. So this is just to show you that you can also use your AI tools to help you in terms of getting a price reduction on a listing, which is one of those key things that we want to try to do as it takes longer for houses to sell. And particularly with that problem listing that you're having a little trouble with. So hopefully that helps you a little bit. Any questions on any of the things I covered there? I went really quickly through that.
On the search, can you do just like two subdivisions, like the one where the house is and the one that another subdivision next to it uh, uh, instead of indicating an area, but just subdivision? Can you do that?
Yeah, you can any search. You can set
Okay.
up any search you want. So my search, so this house is a Broad Ripple house. So the attraction is Broad Ripple.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not looking at any other communities as competition because people that live in Broad Ripple live there for a reason. They want to be in Broad Ripple. So this is specifically to take into account Broad Ripple area. Now there are other houses that you can buy for this price and you get a lot more house. But Broad Ripple's a market in and of itself, so it's kind of focused on Broad Ripple, a little bit into Sobro. But you could use a neighborhood for your search. Basically, you use the same search that you would use to find comps. and
Okay.
then use that search. Now, you could also make it broader. So let's say you have a house listed in Fishers, and you just want to know what else can they buy in Fishers. Uh, then you could do a search for all of Fishers. And so again, but you use the same criteria. I want to see all the actives. I want to see the pendings since I've listed. I want to see the closed since I listed. And that's going to give you that information in Fishers. So it'll show you if you have a house in Fishers and somebody one pins in Fishers, then you can go look at that house and see did they show my listing uh, in Fishers. And then if they did, then why did they buy that one versus mine? Is it price? Was there better features there? Maybe they had a nicer kitchen. A lot of times I can look at the pictures and and make a good guess also based on what feedback they gave me when they saw mine. So, that's a good indication. But the buyer or the seller needs to know this information so that they can make intelligent price decisions. So I try to let my sellers know what's going on in the market of with other homes. Because that way, then when I go and ask them for a price reduction, they know why I'm doing it because I'm seeing other homes sell and ours isn't selling. So there's a reason for that. And if ours isn't selling, that means ours isn't the best. Because the best home in any particular price range or in market are the ones that get sold first. So mine's not the best. So how can I make it the best? Can I change something about the listing to make it better? Can I lower the price to make it better? So those are the things that I want to do. It helps me too as the agent keep my finger on what's going on in the market for my seller. So something easy to do. You set up just like you would a search, and you just have the search go to yourself. Now, if you want, you could have it go directly to your seller too. You could just tell them, "Hey, I'm going to set up a search, and you're going to see every time a new listing comes on the market. You're going to see every time a listing is pinned, and you're going to see every time that there's a listing is closed, and the calculation between the list price and the sold price. So you could send this directly to them as well. So it's kind of up to you in terms of how you handle that.
Okay.
All right. Any other questions? All right. Well, I hope you all have a great day today and enjoy your